Hello guys, welcome back. In this lecture, I am going to explain what are functions, how to declare the functions and their terminology. Okay, so without any further delay, let's get started. Open a new file, and what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about functions. So what are functions? So before explaining what functions are, I'm going to include a library file. Okay, standard input output.h. And what we'll write after declaring the library function? What I'm going to write? We're going to write a main function. Main what? Main function. Okay. So int main. Yeah, main is a function, predefined function in C libraries. Okay. So main function. So every program has a function. Without function, there is no output. Okay. If function exists, then only the output exists. If function doesn't exist, there will be no output. So every programming has at least a single function. Yeah. In this, we are going to discuss functions. The next thing is what we are going to discuss, how to declare them. The next thing is the terminology. And we'll see an example at the end. Okay. So we are going to see all these in this lecture. We're going to discuss about all these in this lecture. So you came to know what is a function. Main is a function. Okay. So functions are basically a piece of codes which do a particular task. What do main do? Main do a particular task. Sometimes we add inside the main. Sometimes we will increase the value. Sometimes we will decrease the value. It will do something. It will print some values. It will store some value. So main function has a particular thing to do. So functions do a particular thing. Okay. So how do we declare them? How do we declare main function? Int. So this is a data type. We can say it as return type. Okay. So declaration. Inside the declaration, give me a sec. Okay. First is the return type. Okay. After return type, what else? Main is a function name, isn't it? Yeah, main is a function name. So return type, I'm going to write it on the scroll. Next is function name. Okay, function name. What else? Open and close the braces. Close the braces. And for the functions, we'll pass parameters. Okay. What are parameters? I'm going to tell it. Just give me a minute. So inside which we'll write body. We'll write some piece of code. Okay. The function body. So functions do a particular task. It has a return type. It has a function name. It has parameters. Okay. So what do this terminology? What is this terminology? Return type is nothing but it returns something. Okay. So what it returns? It may return an integer value, it may return a character, it may return a float value, it may return a double, it can return anything. So that return value is called return type, not value, that return type. Okay, the type is called return type. Int is a return type. Okay, if we write it before the function name. Function name is something we will define. Okay, it's our wish to add any function name. Okay. It's just basically a function name. And parameters are something which helps the program to get executed. Okay, so now I'm going to write an example so that you will get clarity. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a piece of code which gives the addition of two numbers. Okay, so I'm going to print a statement saying please enter any two numbers to add. Okay, I'm going to declare a new line and I'm going to scan those two numbers. Okay, Those two are integers. I'm going to store it under A and B. I haven't declared A and B, right? So I'm going to declare A comma B. Okay. So I'm going to print the addition of two numbers. The sum of two entered numbers is, what is it? An integer. So what is that integer? A plus B, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to execute this and I'll see if it really works. I'll name it as functions intro. Let it be. Save. Enter any two numbers, 2 and 3. The sum of two entered numbers is 5. Okay, the program is working. Okay, I'm not going to explain how we have written this piece of code, because if it's section 2 or 3, I'll definitely explain, but we came a long way. We came to section 7 and you need to get it right. So next thing, I'm going to write the same code using functions. Okay, so how to define a function? A function should have a return type. So the function which I'm going to write basically has a return type of int, because the function do the sum, the addition. So the return type is integer. We'll return the value of 5, 6, 7, 8 like that. No, if we add two numbers, suppose we say we enter 2 and 3, the sum would be 5. So 5 is a return value for my function. So what is 5? 5 is an integer. So int function name. It's our wish to write any function name, but what I suggest you guys, write a function name with some meaning to it. Okay, so that next time when you will see, you need to get it through that name. So what do this function do? Okay, I'm going to name it as sum. Okay, int sum. Okay, and inside which I need to add parameters, isn't it? So what is a parameter? Parameter is nothing but it helps us to solve the code. Okay, so I'm going to take two integers to add. So the two integers are, let me take it as int x and int y. You can take int a and int b, because we are adding those two numbers, right? So we can take int a and int b. Why I'm taking int x and int y means, I'm telling you that it is not a rule to take only a and b, because we are going to add those two numbers. We can take any integers we want. Okay, and I'm going to return, what I'm going to return? I'm going to return x plus y. That's it. Okay, so what I'm going to return? X plus y. Okay, we have written a function. Okay, I have returned a function. We wrote a function. Okay, we wrote a function. This is basically a function, and in order to get it work, we need to declare it. Okay, so just copy this line and paste it under library file and a semicolon, add a semicolon. That's it. It will work now. And what we need to do, instead of adding these numbers, I'm going to directly print this through the return. Right? Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass the sum here, and the return type will be stored as an integer. So int c, I'm going to store it as int c equals sum of a comma b. Okay, so I'm going to print c. Let me see if it works. If it works, I'll explain you. The sum is 1. Why? It is not taking any value, because we are not passing any value. See, I mean, we are not scanning any value. I just deleted those. %d, %d, comma, ampersand a, comma, ampersand b. I'm going to store these two values. I'm going to add this. So let me compile this. Please enter two numbers, 2, 3. The sum of the two entered numbers is 5. Okay, so we are getting the correct output. So how are we getting the output? So I'm going to explain the flow of the programming. Okay, so first, whenever we run this program, it will search for main function. Okay, here is the main function. So inside it will print this out in the output screen. Please enter any two, not numbers. Please enter any two numbers to add, and then we are going to scan those two numbers, and then we are going to declare another variable as int c equals. Okay, no need to declare it here, we can also declare it here. Okay, c equals sum of a comma b. So what is sum? So it will search for sum. It will go back to here, under the hash include it will find sum. Okay, the sum has two variables, int x and int y. Okay, so he had declared these two variables, so he need to pass two variables to the sum. So we are passing two parameters, a and b, that are just scanned. So it will go to the function and it will go inside the function, and what it will do, it will add those two, x and y. So a will be x here and b will be y here. So x plus y in terms indirectly a plus b. Okay, it means a plus b. So it will add those and will return to c, and we are printing the c here. So this is basically called the function calling. We are calling this function here. Okay, so here the function do a job. What do the job of a function here? It will return the addition of two numbers. We can pass any values, it will return the addition of those two numbers. So it may be silly for you because we can directly write a sum here, we can directly add it, and we can print here. So what is the need of functions here, you may think, but I'm just explaining it as you are the basic, you are learning the basics. So in real-time applications, you have a very long code, hundreds and thousands of lines of code. Okay, and in that code you will define, basically inside a main function you are going to declare a function. Okay, so that the function will go search that function name and will execute that duty, its duty. Okay, so whenever a program gets malfunctioned, we'll easily know where the error lies, because if we print this at this stage, we'll get to know what output you will get. So by that you can know whether this program gives the correct output or not. Okay, you can easily check where is the mistake going on. Okay, if you write the sum here and in the next line you are going to write which is greater than, you are finding which number is greater, and then you are doing some else function, instead of writing all those functions in main, let's split it up like different functions, and each function will do a specific task. That is basically the function. So in this lecture what we have discussed, what the functions are, how to declare them, and what is the syntax and the terminology and the sum example. And while we executed, it has worked perfectly. 3 and 5, the sum will be 8. Okay, nice. So this is the basic introduction to functions. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.